Meanwhile, in other matters of crisis, the Department of Homeland Security is targeting what they consider sanctuary cities all across the U.S. for interfering with the president's efforts to deport people who are in the country illegally, according to the Trump administration. San Diego, Vista, Chula Vista, and Santee all made it onto that list. Joining us now to discuss the matter in greater detail is the mayor of Vista, Mr. John Franklin. Mr. Franklin, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Paul. Good to see you.
So when you read that Vista was a sanctuary city, I'm sure you thought, whoa, where'd we sign that contract? Please explain how you got on that list and what your reaction has been to it.
Well, we're almost entirely certain it was a mistake. We're not sure if it was one of mistaken identity, but we know that Vista has taken steps through my leadership to pass a resolution June 26, 2018, declaring that we are not a sanctuary city, that we do not find the sanctuary state law consistent with the values of the people of Vista. And at that time, we actually joined the administration's lawsuit against the state of California for creating a sanctuary state law. So our city is on the record. We do not support sanctuary policies. You know, Paul, I watched Hillary Clinton this morning on video talking about deporting criminals. This was a bipartisan issue. Once people have broken the social compact, once they've violated our community by committing crimes, then even Democrats used to believe that we should deport them. And this is really fundamentally about safety. We're talking here in the county of San Diego with sanctuary policy, the super sanctuary policy, about people literally convicted of rape, convicted of murder, convicted of child molestation. These people don't deserve to get to stay, and people who come here legally as immigrants wouldn't have the privilege of staying if they committed crimes.
But you see the photo ops, and you're going to see them in greater number and with greater close-up, if you will, of people who are working in the country, minding their own business, but are not here legally, and they're getting kind of caught up in this dragnet as we look for hardened criminals. There's some collateral damage, and you're seeing that. Are you prepared to withstand that, sir? Because what happens is that gets ratcheted up in the media, and suddenly you're the bad guy again.
Yeah, I understand that, but what I think is important for us to keep communicating, I'm watching these ICE operations that are happening here in San Diego, but I personally reached out as mayor to the deputy chief of staff here of the Immigration Customs Enforcement in San Diego, and I asked him, what's the deal with all this activity, and is it truly only criminals? And this is a career, law enforcement official who's a senior person in San Diego, and they let me know that they are, in fact, only going after those individuals who have committed crimes subsequent to illegal entry. So that's what they're telling me. These are the career law enforcement people, not somebody appointed directly by the president. So I've got to take them at their word. Unfortunately, when we allow chaos to ensue at our borders because we no longer want to enforce our border law or our other laws, we have a state of lawlessness that's been allowed to exist, and it's painful. But look, I think we all know that we've got people here that don't deserve to be deported. We have to take a look at it case by case. But clearly, when they've committed crimes, Hillary Clinton and I completely agree, they don't deserve to stay. And by the way, Paul, I communicated actually over the weekend with people in the Secretary's office at Department of Homeland Security. They recognize, I think, that they've committed an error, and I think they're committed to fix it. So I hope to be back with you later this week, letting you know that we've gotten it all cleared up.
Well, getting back to the subject at hand, I might have taken us off path a little bit. Is there some piece of paper that there's a column, sanctuary city, yes, no? I mean, how are some cities classified as sanctuary? Is it based just on the comments that come out of their leaders' offices?
You know, the only way that a city council can speak, or that a city can speak, is through its council, and we certainly have had no action of our council that would give anybody the idea that we do anything other than repudiate sanctuary policies. I think it was a case of mistaken identity. We use the Sheriff's Department. 12 cities out of the 18 in San Diego use the Sheriff's Department. We're called a contract city. And we do give direction to the Sheriff's Department, but it's sort of a delicate dance we do with the sheriff, who's an elected official and ultimately has the authority to instruct her deputies. But whatever policy governs the law enforcement, the operations in the city of Vista would also apply to all the other cities that use the Sheriff's Department. but I'm aware of no policy adopted by the sheriff either. The real issue here comes down to the state law, which I've said many times is totally wrong. We should not be protecting criminals. The biggest part, and when we talk about sanctuary city or sanctuary laws, the biggest issue here is people who are in custody. They are in our jails, they're in our prisons, and for whatever reason, they're being released, but we are aware that they have a valid federal warrant. And when they have a federal warrant, we are releasing them instead of cooperating with federal immigration officials to release them into the custody of those law enforcement officials who have a valid warrant, which then makes our federal law enforcement officials have to go chase that person down, which is not only dangerous, the rearrest is not only dangerous for our federal law enforcement officials, it's also dangerous for the individual who's being rearrested. It's safer for everyone to go ahead and peacefully transfer that person into custody, and it's least disruptive to the community around that person. So it should be in everyone's best interest, including those who haven't committed additional crimes and are hoping not to get caught up in the dragnet.
Call it a conversation there. You might be winning the argument. Now, you know, the city attorney now changing the phrase, we're not a sanctuary city here in San Diego, we're a welcoming city. Suggesting that perhaps we're playing the semantics game a little bit, but we'll save that for our next conversation, Mayor Franklin. We have to run.
Well, the overwhelming majority don't want criminals to stay after they've committed crimes.
I think maybe we're seeing that a little bit. We'll talk next time, sir. Thank you for joining us, and have a safe day.
You too.